5 wicked crimes strangely linked to Ouija boards. When the Ouija board was invented in the 1890s, it was intended as a parlor game to entertain and kill time. But through the decades, it's been used by people as a doorway to the occult, making Ouija boards dangerous and deadly. The perils have mysteriously linked Ouija boards to wicked crimes, such as these. Number 5. Michael McCallum. Teenage friends Michael McCallum and Pierre Antoine invited 15-year-old boys Michael Eridge and Stephen Curran on December 2, 1995, for a heavy metal music tripping experience at McCallum's house in London's Mayfair district. To Eridge and Curran's horror, McCallum's room was a shrine to Satan with posters of the devil covering the walls, an improvised altar covered with black cloth standing against the wall, heavy metal records with satanic lyrics scattered on the floor, and then there was the Ouija board. As the 4 boys utilized the board, McCallum asked, "If you are Satan, what is it you want me to do?" The board supposedly spelled out kill, and at that point, Eridge tried to leave, but he was struck by Antoine. McCallum's devilish act then happened. He pulled out a foot-long combat knife and stabbed it 11 times into the neck and chest of Eridge, while his pal Curran managed to escape fast. It was believed that McCallum murdered Eridge as penance to Satan. In the end, Satan worshippers McCallum and Antoine were sentenced to an unlimited term in separate psychiatric facilities. Number 4. Carol Sue Elvaker. Can God speak through the Ouija board? Apparently that was the claim of 53-year-old grandma Carol Sue Elvaker, who stabbed to death her son-in-law, but was found not guilty due to insanity. Elvaker, her daughter Tammy, and 2 granddaughters were playing the Ouija board on the night of February 11, 2000, in their Minco, Oklahoma home. Elvaker supposedly received a message from God via the board that her son-in-law Brian was evil and should be killed. Thus, she grabbed a knife and stabbed Brian in the chest. A former Minco mayor, Brian, cried for help, but Elvaker and Tammy just let him bleed to death. The grandma tried killing her 10-year-old granddaughter, but Tammy wrestled the knife from her mother. The 4 ladies then drove away, but the matriarch tried to kill all of them by running into a road sign. Luckily, they only suffered minor injuries. Elvaker tried to push one of the girls into traffic, believing that she was also evil, but failed. Her insanity hindered Elvaker's imprisonment. Instead, she was committed to a psychiatric hospital. Number 3. Tucker and Schalchlin. In December 2007, 16-year-old Joshua Tucker and his pal, 15-year-old Donald Schalchin, were out shopping in West Richland, Washington for a Christmas gift for Schalchin's mom, but didn't find one. Instead, Tucker prodded Schalchin to buy a Ouija board. A very unfortunate decision that led to a horrible, bloody Christmas. A few nights later, while the boys were drinking heavily, Tucker turned to the board and asked if he would become a serial killer. The board allegedly replied a resounding yes, which Schalchin believed was the spirit of Satan that his friend called forth and possessed Tucker. The first victim of the night was Schalchlin's 13-year-old sister Elizabeth, whose throat was slashed by Tucker out of nowhere. While Schalchlin's mother, Lori, was looking for her daughter, Tucker attacked and stabbed her 90 times. As Tucker's mother, Shannon Harrington, described in the defense of her son, it was like Satan was using his hands. The 2 teens tried to flee but were caught by authorities. Schalchlin was given 9.5 years in prison, while Tucker was given a 41-year sentence. Number 2. The Carroll family. A Ouija board and a Bedlington Terrier had been the sources of tragedies that befell the Carroll family in Ledgate, England. The tale began on Christmas Eve 2014 when Paul and Margaret Carroll tried to contact the dead using a Ouija board, but in the process of doing so, Paul said a bad spirit entered their dog Molly. Paul, who was a severe learning disability and mental health concerns, dismembered the dog first to remove its ID microchip, then drowned it in a nearby drain. Soon after, a neighbor discovered Molly's remains and reported Paul to the authorities. Just right after Paul pleaded guilty to charges of causing the dog unnecessary suffering for which he received a suspended sentence, his wife Margaret and stepdaughter Katrina summoned Molly via the Ouija board. They claimed that the board told them of their imminent death. The 2 then allegedly took prescription drugs and set their home ablaze in an apparent suicide attempt. Margaret and Katrina survived but were charged with arson and faced 4 years in prison, which the Ouija board didn't foretell at all. Number 1. David's wishes. In this horrendous tale of robbery-murder, the victim was Vietnamese immigrant Doc Van Dang, while the guilty party was composed of his friends Anthony Hall, Bunny Dixon, Daniel Bowen, and Elizabeth Town. Where does that leave David in the equation? David is supposedly the spirit of a 10-year-old boy who told Satan worshiper Dixon via the Ouija board of a sinister plan. The alleged evil scheme was for the group of friends to go to a carnival in Virginia by robbing and killing someone. So on the night of July 20th, 1987, Satanists Dixon and Town posed as hitchhikers along a street in Orlando, Florida. When Dang stopped for the women, Bowen hijacked Dang's car at gunpoint, robbed him of $120, bound, gagged, and kept him in the car's trunk. Upon reaching Daytona Beach, Dixon carved an inverted cross on Dang's chest. Then the two men shot him multiple times. They succeeded in killing Dang, but David's spirit didn't plan that the foursome could get away with murder. Hall and Bowen got life sentences, while Dixon was given 50 years and Town got 17. Thanks for watching. Please like and share this video with your friends and subscribe to our channel for your daily dose of voodoo videos.